Hey everybody, it's Andrea. Before we start today's show, I have a super quick announcement to share with all of you. Beginning in April, I'm going to be launching a series of college to career live weekend boot camps to help graduating seniors as well as juniors who are confused about what jobs or careers they might want to pursue when they graduate. So imagine going from confused to confident with at least 3 different career options you'd be psyched to explore by the end of day 1 of the boot camp. And then learning the tools, tactics, and the strategies to find those jobs by the end of day 2. The boot camp is live and it's led by me over Zoom. And you can learn more about it at College to Career Academy. That's college, the number 2, career.academy. Or you can just look me up on LinkedIn and check out the featured section of my LinkedIn page. I can't imagine a better graduation gift for the college students in your life. Thanks so much for listening, and I know you're going to enjoy my next incredible guest. Hi there, I'm Andrea Koppel, and it's time for coffee, the podcast where you get to hear firsthand what the jobs and careers that interest you the most are really like. Hey there, Java junkies. Welcome to another K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. By the way, K-Cups come in 3 sizes, single, double, and triple shots, or roughly 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length. So if you don't have time to throw back an entire caffeinated career conversation, these K-Cup mini episodes of T4C can give you a quick caffeinated fix, whether you're on the go or you only have a few minutes to binge. So grab your mug and take a chug, because it's time for a caffeinated career double shot K-Cup with my guest, Lisa Gable. Lisa, as you know, before we began this interview, I try to offer my guests the opportunity to suggest topics that they would like to raise during our time together. And one of the ones that you suggested was how to choose your personal brand attributes. Could you elaborate on that concept for us?
Yeah, it's interesting because I did corporate branding for 15 years in Silicon Valley. And I made a decision early on. I wanted people to think I was smart and credible. And where that came from is that Craig Barrett, who was the CEO of Intel that hired me out of Washington when I was 24, said, I hire smart people. And I thought, well, that's an attribute you want to have, smart people. But then he also told me another thing. I want people to speak with facts. Data is important. And I thought, well, that's credibility. And I think that you need to think about what's unique about you. What's your superpower? What can you do? And then you brand yourself. You really think within the terms of how you set up your LinkedIn, how you communicate with people. Are you demonstrating the attributes that you want to have represent you throughout your career?
Fantastic advice. 2 final T4C questions, Lisa. Could you share a time in your professional life when you struggled? Maybe you even failed. And I ask that question not because I'm trying to embarrass my guests. I mean, the truth is far from it. I personally speak very openly about the times that I've failed in my own professional journey and the opportunities that those failures have afforded me. And my hope in asking this question of all of my guests is that by sharing some of our own personal struggles, we will be able to empower all of our young listeners to recognize that we all have ups and downs in our personal lives as we are experiencing with COVID, and in our professional lives as many people are also experiencing with COVID. But that often those downs lead to new insights and wonderful new opportunities.
Well, I speak a lot about, I give a speech called Zigzag to the Top. When my daughter's adopted, 10 months after her adoption, my husband was in the middle of a startup. I had my own company in Silicon Valley. And, He was on the operating table with a malignant tumor, and we would soon go through a period where he had 7 operations. And it turned out that out of all the people in the United States, he was one of 50 people a year who had a reoccurring malignant tumor. We had to basically change our entire lives. He's really the inspiration on this one because the money from his VC went into his startup account during his first operation. He and his partners sold the company 2.5 years later. And for his first year, they cut one of his vocal cords and he could not speak. And his whole job was speaking. He was the evangelist. He was the business guy you put on TV. So we've learned that you can zigzag, you can take turns in the road. I had to change my career significantly during the period of time when he was most ill and step away from it. And I had to find other ways to get professional credentials. And that's when I started joining corporate boards and large nonprofit boards because I wanted to be a professional, but I couldn't work full time while I had a young daughter and a sick husband. So the reality is life is not linear. It doesn't matter how much you plan. It doesn't matter how you didn't plan for it to turn out that way. Things will happen. And the entire United States has learned that, as the world has, during the last 9 months. And the question everybody has to ask themselves is, what can I do? How do I move forward? And what is my plan of action for me and my career, despite the challenge that has been tossed our way? And that is something that has guided me, and it's actually empowered me for the last 22 years.
Thank you so much for sharing that. How is your husband doing now?
He is on another startup on quantum computing, and he is upstairs on the phone call with his board, I believe. He has had his physical ups and downs. He has been in and out of the hospital. He has had strange and unexpected things happen, but once dropped down to be 95 pounds. But he never gave up, and neither did we. And we all kept moving forward and enjoying life and the opportunities that were given to us.
Thanks for tuning in to this K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. If you want to listen to our entire caffeinated career conversation, please check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to Time for Coffee, where the professionals in the jobs that most interest you always have time to grab coffee 24/7, no matter where you live. I have one quick favor to ask you. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Time for Coffee. Thanks so much.